Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Mano-777, and we're back inside of Destiny here with a raid glitch video. We're going to be showing you how to get all of the 5 exotic chests out of the Wrath of the Machine raid without having to kill any of the bosses. I'm going to be using my Night Stalker with a full agility build, my Bones of Ao, and a sword. You can also do this with a Titan with Twilight Garrison, as well as full agility on that build as well. So a couple of things to think about, guys. This video is for tips and tricks and troubleshooting in case if you've seen some videos on how to do this before. I've seen a couple of the original videos, and the one thing that they didn't offer was tips and tricks on how to do it in case if you're struggling. So I'm going to give you some of those things first. So first things first, you're going to want to make sure that you are going and aiming for this spot when you jump up onto the platform where Vosik goes. And then you're going to go into the area with the light. We're going to jump up here a couple of times. You'll see that I make it this first time, but if you don't make it, take an extra sword swipe. It'll help you get into that position. Next up, you're going to be aiming for the light. Get yourself oriented in there and then use a sword swipe to pop yourself into there. That's what a lot of people were starting with. Next, get a running jump from that area where the light is. That will give you enough speed and momentum to get up to that platform. Don't just jump up there. Next up, you're going to be aiming for this platform here. What you want to do is orient yourself, make sure that you're good to go, get a nice running jump, take a couple of jumps, and if you need to, use your sword to get yourself into position. Once you're here, there is a couple of things in your way. You're trying to get up to that spot, but there's a lot of things that you can kind of bonk your head on. So what you want to do is kind of feel your way around a path there. You kind of have to pull back on the thumbstick to try and get into position. Now, if you don't get it immediately, just put yourself back into position. Make sure that you don't fall off all the way so you don't have to restart. Just take your time and be patient. What I try to do is aim for that top of the X crossbar there and then just do an extra jump or two and you'll be good to go. Next up, we're looking for that connection there. You're going to just take your sword out, take a nice little jump, get to that position right there, and life is good. Next up, you're going to try and jump up to the area where there's like a crossbar right here. You can actually see this line that I'm shooting at. That's kind of where you're aiming at. The next thing you're going to do is actually go to the area where you're going to do some wall climbing with your sword. You just basically go around that side and you will be good to go. Just go ahead and jump and swipe with your sword. That's essentially just jump and melee, just together. And you're going to want to make sure you don't spam it because you are going to want to make sure that you save some heavy ammunition for your sword. Basically, keep doing this until you get to the point where you can walk up to the next place. Once you get to an area where you can walk, you're essentially looking for this different color that is happening on the wall. Just jump up over there, and what you're going to want to do is basically just run forward until you run into an invisible wall. What's going to happen is you'll essentially just crawl over to the right side, and what's going to happen is you're going to want to jump where you see this light here, and then you're going to jump around and basically get to a position where you can use your sword and wall climb again. The next thing that I'm going to do is show you, this is probably the trickiest part of this glitch, this area here, because it's very hard to mitigate the wall climbing and like where exactly you're supposed to go. You can see that I'm having a little bit of a struggle with it. I'm just trying to make sure that I have enough sword jumps. There is a little ceiling, invisible ceiling, that will knock you down very fast like you just saw there. But essentially there is that line on the right side that goes around the wall. What you want to do is follow that around, and then down beneath the area where that line is, there is going to be a little green ledge that I'm going to land on. Basically orient yourself right there and then fall down and make sure you've got a couple of sword swipes. It's going to be a little green ledge that you can stand on right there. You're going to see that I shoot it here. If you go below that, you're kind of toast. You want to make sure you fall all the way down there. There's the line that I was following to make sure that I was lined up. So get to that ledge and you'll be good to go. This is your next destination. But before you do that, take a second, stand on the ledge and actually sit down, emote, do whatever you want, because if you accidentally die here, you can just respawn on that particular spot. Jump around the edge, use 2 sword swipes to get on over that position. If you don't make it up, just take an extra jump and life will be good. You're then going to go up on top of that area. You kind of have to pull back on your joystick so that you do not hit that ledge. Next up, you'll go to the top of the wall over here and life will be good. Let's show you how to get the first 2 chests. Go down and around to the left left side and make sure that it says Splicer's Den on the left side of your screen. Once you have that on your screen, you're essentially loaded into the game world. Go ahead and die. There will be an area where it'll say for you to turn back. Just go ahead and die in that position, and it will respawn you inside the wall, like you've completed the opening of the door process before you go and get Vosic. You can actually see that I'm here inside the first portion of the wall. I can start to do the next jumping puzzle if I so choose, but make sure you actually go backwards and go pick up the chest that you have over there. You want to make sure that you pick that up. Maybe you want to get those Siva pieces because you want to make as many keys as you want, because you know what? Hard mode is coming out here this next Tuesday. You want as many of those Siva pieces as possible. So make sure you pick that up and life will be good. You'll also get a chance to get an exotic, a sublime engram, or a legendary engram. If you're on PS4 or if you're on Xbox One, you can get the just the legendary and the exotics. All right, so we're going to go down over here. We're going to show you, many of you know where this first chest is, but just to show you in case if maybe you don't know where that is, I'm going to go through this jumping puzzle that you've seen. Again, I just like to use a sword when I'm jumping on these positions. If you don't need to see where this is, we're going to just go ahead and jump to the timestamp. Otherwise, I'm just going to let you guys watch it. All right, and now you have your first two chests. What you're going to want to do now is go to orbit because you can no longer progress any further. What you're going to want to do is do those jumping glitches again up to the top of this position where I notated it in the video earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the last three chests right now. You can do this in one run. And what you're going to want to do is jump down here, but don't go backwards to an area where you're going to die. What you're going to want to do is go forwards through this area where you can essentially just jump on top of everything and jump on top of this section of the wall. What you're going to want to do is find all these little paths and these walkways and pieces of wall that you can run on. There are some invisible walls, like you can see me testing the invisible walls around here. Just keep jumping until you find a path forward. If you accidentally land in an area where it looks like there isn't going to be ceiling, do not worry. There is an invisible game ceiling that is underneath there. You can see a couple of times in the video that I actually land in an area where it doesn't look like there is a ceiling, but I'm absolutely fine. Just keep jumping, keep feeling your path all the way through this area. And what you're going to want to do, it's kind of cool because you actually get to see how some of the level is put together. Again, just keep feeling your way. Make sure that you are jumping over all those invisible walls. Keep progressing forward. There's going to be an area where it opens up just a slight amount. At that point, just take a small left and you're going to want to make a jump over here. I use my sword to jump over there, but you really don't need to. I just did it because I wanted to. Keep going forward. You'll see the small turn to the left as you go through here. Essentially, we're just skipping Vosic as we speak right now. Vosic was that area where kind of like the lighting changed a little bit. Again, you'll see me accidentally step on a couple of spots in the ceiling where there's no quote ceiling there. Again, just keep jumping and going forward until you get to an area where it's going to say apex. Again, there is a lot of invisible walls. Just keep jumping. I can't stress that enough. I got freaked out a bunch of times when I did this because I thought I was going to fall through the map and die. But the truth is unless if you go to the outer edges of the map or go to a specific area where there's like very little game information or anything else like that, or like a lot of game, say for example, like an actual piece of real estate in the game, I didn't have any problems. It was pretty easy to do, honestly. So what you're going to want to do is get to this area where it says Apex. Once you've loaded in the area that says Apex, you are now essentially at the Death Zamboni area. You can either go to a spot where it tells you you're going to die in 5 seconds, or you're going to just jump off the edge. You can see I just jump off the edge over here. When you respawn, you are going to respawn inside the area where the Death Zamboni is. But you'll notice the Death Zamboni isn't there because the game still thinks we're at the beginning of the raid. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn around. We're going to go get the last 2 chests. I'm going to let you watch, and I'll be back with you shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump off the edge here and get the 5th and final chest after the Death Zamboni area. But with that, I want to make sure I leave some final thoughts. First of all, I was not the first person to discover this glitch. I am going to leave the credit to the people who I saw do this glitch first in the description box below. You should go check out their channels and say hi to them from the Manoverse and from Mano-777. What I wanted to do in this video is give you tips and tricks on how to troubleshoot it. I love platforming, and I have a lot of people asking me how to do some certain platforming sections. I'm not the greatest platformer in the world, but I definitely like to put together suggestions and ways of how to get around glitches and how to do different platforming sections. So that was the purpose of this guide. So hopefully you like that. Hopefully this helped you out and helped you to get those 5 chests together pretty easily without having to kill any of the bosses. Just for your notes, the final area that you can go to is the area where the Axis boss will spawn in. There is a hallway where the door will not open. It won't open because it thinks that you are still at the beginning of the raid. So guys, if you liked this video, a positive rating would be greatly appreciated. Hit that subscribe button for more Destiny Rise of Iron content. Check out my Twitch live streams where I bring people through raids, especially the heroic hard mode. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time in the universe of Destiny.